Okay. I'm almost Mongolian. I'm here with Ryan Marshall, the new CEO of Voxtur. I have collected questions from the Finnish group, from some from my Twitter and some from me. And but before I go into the questions, I would like to hear you talk a bit about this news release today about the Meridian link integration with Voxtur.
So first of all, thanks, Jonas. I know we've been catching up trying to get this interview on the calendar. So again, I appreciate the patience. So yeah, the Meridian link announcement that happened today, that is, that is news to me right now as well. I know that has been in the works now for probably about 4 to 5 months in terms of trying to get that press release out. That signifies obviously the confidence that some of the loan origination software platforms have, not only in Voxtur in general, but being able to provide a distribution point to all of our services and our technology, which is it's exciting. And I think that most of our clients originate transactions in either Meridian Link or the alternative, which is Encompass. Both of which we are integrated with now today.
Right. And in the press release, it says that, well, it's not the press release, it's only on your website, but it says that Voxtur clients now have one entry point to access all products and services. So does this mean like everything, like blue water? Like, does this mean, like, what does this mean?
Yeah. So keep in mind, before August, a lot of the business units were being viewed separately, and it's important to move to a one Voxtur solution, not only for the ease of of managing a business where we are today, but also making it easy for a loan officer or for a real estate agent or for somebody, right, to access our products, right? We have to make it easy. And this is one of those steps to make it easy to consume all of our products and services across all business lines.
All right. Well, I think that's enough on the Meridian link. So my first questions are, just clarify some numbers from the earnings call. There was some interesting numbers. So first was you projected operating costs for next year, 26.6 million. So does that include non-cash items and interest cost? I guess that.
So the 26, the range, right? So the range, I think, was somewhere between 24 to 27 million in total operating costs for the year of 2025. That is the total operating cost for the business and does not include mortgage or interest payments to our senior debt holder.
Yeah. And that does not include non-cash costs.
Yeah, our mortgage and interest payments, it does not include that number. That's correct.
I mean, does it include like amortization and stuff like that? Because that's like million a quarter.
Right. So if you take the 26 million and if you add the mortgage and interest payments on top of that, then we would be looking at somewhere around $30 million total for mortgage interest payments plus all of the total operating costs for the business.
Yeah. And you think you can get to that point if you raise prices and do something else also?
So our total operating cost today doesn't have anything to do with raising prices.
But
so
you can
right
get
now,
profit to that point.
I do believe that we are going to realize 11 to 15% gross profit increase from the third and fourth quarter, which is attributed partially by increasing our prices, because truth be told, they've never had a price increase, right? Some of those products are 8 years old, and prices, our COGS have gone up significantly over the last 3 to 4 years. AWS costs, costs with Google, platform costs, obviously the costs of wages, inflation, et cetera. We haven't been able to recognize any of those, and we need to catch up. And as a result of that, we're going to be able to see a 11 to 15% gross profit pickup.
Yeah, and I guess you don't believe any of your clients will leave because of these higher prices.
So our price increases are very strategic. They are planned carefully on products that we believe are staples in the industry, right? Meaning, they might have a few other options that they could potentially go to if they wanted to, but the price increase would be set at such a rate where the cost benefit analysis for them to make a switch to another provider may be more cost prohibitive. And so again, I'm going to leave it to the team, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to see those margins without having any fallout.
All right. And in the call, you said that if you get to 30 to 33 million gross profit, you could use that to service all of your debt. So I assume this meant that even if you wouldn't sell Blue Water, if you get to that gross profit, you could service your whole debt, right?
That's right. Yeah, Jonas. So, I think the first initiative for me in August was to make sure that we had a healthy company, safe company for our employees and our clients. Regardless of what happens with Blue Water, regardless of what happens with anything else, we wanted to make sure that our total gross profit did not exceed our expenses, right? And so, I mean, for obvious reasons, that has been the primary focus. And so if we could get to that point, which I do believe that we are trending in that position, which I've shared with you guys where I believe that we are in December, January, and the first quarter of next year, then I do believe that there's other opportunities, potentially even better opportunities that we're going to be able to solicit to the company, right? Because now we have a viable company, we're sustaining ourselves, and now we can really start to work on growing the company, growing the initiatives, and doing what I believed when I sold my company to Voxtur, what I believed was the true vision of Voxtur.
So if you can service the whole debt with this increase, it would, I guess, if that's true, that would mean you don't have to sell Blue Water. How do you see the Blue Water transaction? How is it progressing? What's going on with that?
Yeah. So, again, it's a tough market, right? I mean, we do actively have an agreement with University Bank still that has not changed. Truth be told, I think that there's, eroding confidence levels on probably both sides, only because of the time for it to close. And as a result of that, we also want to make sure that we're mindful of covering off any of that risk. So, we're evaluating non-strategic assets that we could potentially sell if we have to mitigate, debt risk immediately. Also, if we could get to a position where we are EBITDA positive, or in my mind, the probability of being EBITDA positive here in short order, then, there's obviously a comfort level where we can, potentially find other opportunities to help resolve some of the debt pressure that we have with BMO. And so, with that being said, we're exploring all opportunities right now, not just set on one of them.
But would you say that you need that you don't need the Blue Water sale? Do you think you need it to avoid the dilution, to avoid the debt becoming a problem?
Right now, the best thing that I could suggest is we are open to all opportunities, right? I mean, I think that would be the best way to say it. If the University Bank deal were to come to fruition, if it covers off, a large percentage of our debt, I think as shareholders and as investors, we have to balance, we're going to be getting rid of approximately, 3.5 million worth of interest and principal payments per year. But what are we giving up for that, right? What EBITDA positive number or what revenue are we going to be giving up in 2005 in order to achieve that? So again, I think that it's a balancing act. I think all opportunities are still on the table. I think it's still very fluid. I can tell you that the only thing that we can control right now as an operation team is making sure that our costs don't exceed our gross profit revenue. Gross profit.
Do you think they do they exceed it now? Can you say that?
Of course. I mean, you guys see the financials. Of course it was exceeding it. I mean, in October, or in August, right? I mean, that month alone going to USD was $2.7 million, right? Of total operating expense. Today, as we are trending, right? Again, we haven't realized it yet because there's cancellation notices. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But today we're trending down to about a $1.65 to $1.7 million total operating cost per month. It's $1 million savings that we've been able to achieve as a team in the last 90 days.
You think that's going to be realized like in the short future?
I believe that it is. It is in the immediate future. Yes. Right. I mean, to kind of understand. So something that I underestimated, because again, I'm in the US. US is at more, an at-will country as it relates to employer-employee laws. And there's a tremendous amount of other things that we had to take into consideration. There's severances, there's PTOs, there's notices that you have to give vendors, right? Some of the contracts are on annual agreements, so we're going back to them and trying to renegotiate, any past due invoices that we could get current today with, and then we can, negotiate trying to get out of the contract early. If we can't get out of it early, we're modeling that out to the end of the contract as it relates to cash flow. It's a project in itself.
Are you pursuing refinancing of the debt?
Refinancing of the BMO debt?
Yes.
All opportunity. We're open to all opportunities, right? I mean, BMO has been a phenomenal partner. I mean, obviously, we want to make sure that we stay on side with them. But truth be told, if there was an opportunity that we could pay off BMO, and it made sense for everybody, then I think it would be something that we'd be exploring.
Okay. Now in the conference call, you said that you had shut down. Was that 6 business projects that didn't have a strong case of generating revenue soon? So can you say what was shut down? What did you shut down?
So it's been an accumulation of a lot of lingering things, right? So if you recall, there used to be a emphasis on bankruptcy. Remember, I don't know if you remember this goes back when I actually merged my company into Voxtur. There was a lot of conversations about bankruptcy technology. So we've made the choice to sideline some of those initiatives. Also, if you remember, there were some tax certificate projects that we would have been able to realize with some of the other strategic points, like through the data company, through the title company. That project we've decided to sideline, not only because we didn't have line of sight of revenue in 2025, but also a lot of the gross profit margins on these companies or on these ideas were limited, where, right now we're looking at moving our 58 to 59% gross profit margin. We're diligently working hard to move that up to 67, 68, 69%, hopefully by the Q1 of 2025. So, again, we're being mindful on what products and services can get us there. Another big move that we've recently done is moving away from all of the service components of title. So where we were a full-fledged operating title company, we've now moved away from physically doing the title work, right? The title closings, and we've strictly gone to a title tech platform. So by being able to do that, we've been able to save a tremendous amount of money each month, not only getting out of that business, but now being able to convert all of those units into a per click fee. So where we were losing a couple $100,000 a month, we're looking at potentially making, anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 a month on those click fees, which is a big swing, especially in this market. And so again, that revenue that we're getting from those click fees, I have not modeled into the projections or the suggestions that I made on the earnings call. This is all upside. This is all bonus.
Yeah, I had here that you said that you are anticipating material increases in volume of our organic and per click products. So what are
That's right.
these per click products, and are you now seeing material increases in volume?
So we are not seeing material increases yet. We're seeing increases, but not material increases. A lot of that is seasonality, right? In the mortgage business in general. If you can imagine how many people are buying and selling or refinancing between Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Not too many. And those that are, it's usually a desperate situation. So volume is down across the whole market, which is indicative of obviously the businesses that we're in. I do believe that is going to pick up in the first quarter of next year. There's a lot of optimism, along with some of the political changes that are happening, deregulation. Anyway, there's some optimism for Q1. We're not, again, I want to make sure that I'm clear. We're also planning or projecting that there is no increases, with the exception of the things that we have direct control over.
And these per click products, are these like Voxtur Verify?
Yeah, that's right. So it would be Voxtur Direct. That's on the valuation platform. Obviously, the more appraisals that we have, or the more volume that's out there, the more appraisals that we have going through the system. Voxtur Verify, Voxtur Rate Advisor, right? This is all transaction. It's a transaction-based platform. So those platforms would be the most materially affected with the seasonality.
Yeah. Are you seeing these products? Are you seeing that they are like the future growth drivers?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I have not put those into any of the, forward-facing conservative statements so far, because I don't personally have line of sight on it. I could make some assumptions. I could do, a whole bunch of things that, occurred before me at Voxtur. I can tell you the only thing that I'm bringing public are the things that I have personal information on, that leads me to believe that we're going to be able to hit those numbers.
Right. So here is a direct question. What do you think will be the first cash flow positive quarter, like full quarter, that we can see in the financials that is cash flow positive?
So cash flow is going to be different than EBITDA, right? I do believe when we talk about cash flow positive, we are close to being to that point already. So, the less of a dependency on, any debt facilities, the better. And I do believe that we are close to achieving that plan right now. So definitely by Q1 of 2025, that should be fully realized.
Yeah. So you would say like Q4 we would burn less money than last quarter, and Q1 would be maybe cash flow positive completely.
That's what we're working towards, 100%. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of it's fluid, right? I mean, there's some variables, there's changes. I like to be as conservative as possible, and I like to overachieve.
Yeah, and obviously you didn't have a lot of cash when Q3 ended. So are you taking on more debt right now from the revolving facility this quarter?
So right now we are close to cash flow positive, and so that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Maybe-
so I think the short answer to your question is not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So we haven't tapped the revolving facility this quarter. If what you are aware of.
Yeah. So again, we've by Q1 will be cash flow positive.
All right. And now a lot of people were in the kind of perception that this revolving this new debt, it was given kind of to get you to the Blue Water transaction. So that it was given like conditionally, and if you don't get to the Blue Water transaction, then it would be a problem. What would you say to that?
I don't, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know where anybody would have got that information. I think the Bank of Montreal has been a great partner. They've been more than willing to work with us. Obviously, there's much more optimism as I could sit here with you today than there was 90 days ago as it relates to our, financial and viability going forward. So, I mean, I think like I said, the first priority in August was to get to a point where the company could sustain itself, regardless of what happens, because we can't control the other things. We can't control University Bank. We can't control any of their syndication partners. Again, we can't control it. So I think by being able to put our best foot forward and demonstrate to the world, which includes, the Bank of Montreal, that again, we can clean up our house and we could sustain ourselves. And that is the number one goal.
Yeah. And there was like in loan documents, there was that the BMO facility, it would be converted to a loan from University Bank. So I assume this didn't happen, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Because again, Jonas, truth be told, that deal was originated before me, right? That announcement did not have my name on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not aware that there was any conversion of the BMO debt. That I'm not aware of. So yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on that.
Okay. Let's see. So Gary has said in interviews before that you are kind of working on some large title companies to offer Voxtur Verify doing 25,000 transactions a month, and which would be $65 per transaction. And so how are you doing with that plan, those discussions?
So again, this is going to be the upside. I have not been able to independently validate or verify volume from the title customers that we have today. So I'm uncomfortable sharing what type of volume they have because I don't know, right? What I can tell you is the programs and the products and the applications themselves are being viewed and welcomed today, where before Voxtur was viewed as a direct competitor for obvious reasons, right? We are going to the agencies when Voxtur is an agency, right? Why would another title company want to subscribe to a service or a technology that we're out there pushing when it's helping their direct competitor, right? And so part of what I've done since August was be able to separate ourselves and make sure that we align not only with our clients, but also with the products, services, and strategies that we have going forward. And so that takes time. And so, I mean, I can't tell you that the title companies right now that we are boarding onto those systems are excited about it. And they're also excited that we're not directly competing with them.
Have you gotten like big new clients for Voxtur Verify?
Yes, we have.
Okay. But you don't know exactly how many transactions they would be making.
So I have not been able to pull a count from no, the short answer is no. Okay. I don't know. I can tell you what people are socializing and what they're telling me, but I have not been able to independently validate it.
Okay. Because obviously 25,000, it would be with that price, it would be 2.6 million a month. So that was something that caught my eye or my ear.
Jonas, we have a lot of opportunities that I'm not including in this outlook, only because I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let the shareholders down, and I want to make sure that there's realistic expectations going forward. There's lots of opportunities. Another one, which I don't know if you're aware of, but people have been, socializing the idea that RPTA, which is something that we've been waiting for a while now, right? Maybe 2 years. That was probably a 25% probability. No, less than that. It was probably a 10% probability until I could independently see that there was some traction or movement going forward and there was actually a need. Now, if you Google it, you're going to be able to find a public RFP, RFI that was put out in the public domain. And so, you're going to see some dates and some timelines on there. Potentially, that could be a very big win in Q1 of 2025.
Okay. So let's go to the RPTA. So, the way it has been talked to the shareholders, it sounds like it has kind of been promised to Voxtur. And so is this the case, or is there like other competitors to get that contract?
So to the first part of your question, I don't know that if it's been promised to Voxtur, that I don't know. I cannot independently validate that. I can independently tell you that I don't believe that there is another competitor that addresses the needs of what's posted on the RFI, RFP.
Yeah. There was an investment report written by Marius. I assume he had somebody from Voxtur tell these numbers, but I want to, could you confirm these numbers? So if you would get the contract, it would be a provincial fee, 4.5 million annually, pre-roll audit, 4 million annually, and other 10 to 15 million annually, and pre-tax profit margin 15 million. Would this be? Do these sound correct? If you get that contract.
So I have line of sight on some of those numbers. Some of those numbers are close, but some of them I don't have line of sight on, so I can't comment one way or the other. I can tell you that it's a significant number in Q1 if it's achieved.
Yeah. The 50 million pre-tax profit, is that in the ballpark, Canadian?
15 or 50?
15.
I don't have line of sight of that. I think that there's going to be some assumptions on some of the consulting work that would be part of that. Yeah, I don't have line of sight of that, but it doesn't mean it's not true. I just don't have line of sight of it.
Okay. And that would be possibly Q1, what you're seeing right now.
So January 11th, this is all public. January 11th, you're going to see is the date for companies to get their submissions in. Again, it's been socialized with us that the award could happen even before January 11th. We're probably estimating, even if it does happen somewhere around January 11th, I want to assume that there's going to be some type of contracting period that does occur, right? It's going to take some time. Potentially we'd be realizing revenue at the end of Q1 to the beginning of Q2, probably, if it were to occur.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to get the ballpark. Like, obviously we want to know, like, what does it mean? Like, do you think it's more than 10 million of, profit annually, or like roughly, what do you think it's going to be?
I think that we're in the ballpark between 5 to 10 million.
Okay. So that would obviously be a Canadian. That would be significant.
That's Canadian, and that's also only on what I have line of sight of, right?
Okay.
If people are conflating the idea that we have consulting work, right, with like appeal management, some of the appeals that do come through, I don't have line of sight on what that volume would look like.
Okay. Now, Blue Water did quite poorly in Q3. So, do you know what's the reason behind that, and are you seeing better performance in Q4 for Blue Water?
So for Blue Water, Q3 was a difficult quarter for everybody, right? I mean, if you look at it, we did have a small groundswell with refinance. We had like a mini refinance boom. That wasn't probably realized in any of our numbers until the end of Q3, the beginning of Q4. With the exception of that, the volume has been and will be depressed, right, for Q3 and Q4. And Blue Water, unfortunately, is a symptom of that condition.
Yeah. I mean, we have been tracking the clients from this website, Security Trails, and you have been signing more clients to the platform, but that does not seem to correlate with revenue at the moment. Or is this purely a macro issue, like a real estate market issue?
So it is. So we are increasing our market share, which is obviously sustaining some of the flatline growth that you're looking at. But overall, the mortgage industry, the volume is down, right? I mean, we're seeing some of our lowest levels. We probably will see those levels through Q4 and the beginning part of Q1. And then, who knows? There's a lot of optimism with the new, policy changes that are being suggested. There could be some optimism in general with the real estate market. So we'll see. We're optimistic.
I mean, last Q1, you did like 5 million with Blue Water with these bulk transactions, and people obviously started to get more optimistic, but then, it went down. So
Yeah,
you haven't
well,
seen this,
it was just 90 days ago, everybody thought we were gonna have a windfall and have a refinance boom, and then, interest rates now are higher than what they were before, right?
No.
So there's consideration in December if the Feds are gonna, move on that. Some say yes, some say no. But regardless, I am optimistic with Q1 and Q2 of this year.
Yeah. I have here a question. Al Ghuresi ran the company as a standalone business unit. He never integrated any of our other offerings, such as title, tax, flood certificates that we offer. What are you and new head of Blue Water doing to integrate these offerings now with Blue Water?
So the first thing that I want to say is, I am extremely optimistic with the Blue Water team. I think that they are very talented. I like all of them. I think we all now have a line of sight on the opportunity that sits in front of us, and I don't think that that was ever afforded to either one of us before 2 or 3 weeks ago. So with that, we are doing, and we are now socializing and integrating the One Voxtur vision with Blue Water, right? I mean, it's our business until it's not our business. And, I'm optimistic with the future of Blue Water and how it relates to the One Voxtur vision.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like even if you can integrate it, then even if you sell it, maybe you can benefit from that because they would
Sure.
still be using your.
Sure. Yeah. So we do have service agreements. I mean, in a lot of what we're contemplating right now, there is service agreements that we're negotiating, which is, it's part of the business. So absolutely.
Okay. So one is that when you started, you sent this email that you and Gary were gonna take $1 salary for
Yes, sir.
until next summer, and you were gonna take this to the board, and the board is gonna has this all happened, right?
So I can tell you, so I've shared with you what the operating expenses are, what they were in August versus what they are today and what we're trending to. I can tell you my own personal, right? From my own personal standpoint, I am working for $1 until June or July of next year. The other changes, I mean, I'll let Gary attest to himself. I want to say, you could obviously see with a lot of the cuts that you see between August and December, a lot of those changes were made, but I'll let Gary, that's personal information to him, in my opinion. I'll let him share that with you.
Okay. Then we have like, can you also you had declining continuing operations revenue this year from last year, and as I assume last year real estate market was also bad last year. So can you also blame that the real estate market this year? Obviously, you haven't been part of this for so long, but can Voxtur why is it down even this year, even though real estate market is kind of just bad to bad year over year?
Yeah. So again, I have line of sight on what has occurred since August, right? That I can confidently tell you, it's only a short window, it's 90 days. Historically, I mean, I do know that there are elements in the business that we have separated ourselves from, which has probably reduced the top line revenue number. So like I mentioned before, there was a separation with the default technology. Also, there was separations from some of the other work that we were doing potentially for the law firm. I mean, I don't know if I don't think the revenue would shift too much other than those two things would be, relatively significant. Yeah, otherwise I don't really have line of sight on what it was before August.
No. I have here that how many transactions are you doing per month with Voxtur Rate Advisor, and what's your average revenue per transaction with that product?
So Voxtur Rate Advisor, so we are converting all of our title transactions. So all of those flow through Voxtur Rate Advisor. I don't know the exact number. I can't comment on the volume. I can comment every client that we had on the title side has been migrated over. But yeah, I can get back to you definitely on the numbers. I don't have them top of mind.
Okay. And let's see. So I heard a rumor that Jim Albertelli is very happy with you, your performance. So I'm thinking obviously is this him talking from a perspective of a shareholder, or are you currently doing business with his companies?
Yeah. So I mean, listen, I believe that this is a very small industry. I think that it's foolish to, to not find alliances in the same sandbox that we all have to live in, right? I do communicate frequently with Jim. I do believe that there's service aspects that we could benefit from by leveraging some of his services, right? An example would be, all of the AOL stuff that was contemplated before does require an attorney, right? An attorney network. So, for us to go out and try to recreate that panel, it seemed foolish to me, right? And it's a natural fit for somebody like Jim and Stacy to be able to help pilot and pioneer, that function. And so, I do think that there's a lot of synergies. There's more synergies that we have than what we don't have. And I think for that reason, I'm optimistic with our relationship. I'm optimistic with what we can help him with, and vice versa. I do believe that he could also help Voxtur, in the next chapter as well.
Yeah. So Jim and I think Stacy Maystad also went to this company Alita, and they are
Correct.
promoting AOL. So are you working with this Alita to sell AOL or something?
Yeah. So, some of the public, I think so, without educating everybody on how it all works, I think that there's been some misconceptions in the public marketplace with what Alita does versus what Voxtur does, right? And truth be told, Alita and that group designed a technology to support an attorney panel, right? It's a legal function. that is a work through, function that's required for them to effectively manage the attorneys and the legal practice, which is not something necessarily that I think Voxtur ever wanted to be involved with. What Voxtur wanted to do was be able to be the front of sale, right? They wanted to be the point of sale with the lenders and with the clients. And I do believe that we have, formed that synergy between both ourselves and Jim and Alita, where Voxtur still provides the technology. We still provide, a lot of the forward-facing sale points that's required for a lender to stay on side for compliance issues, for pricing issues, all that stuff. So I do believe that we're fully realizing what that vision ultimately was, while giving up, just like title on the service side, we're giving up a lower margin, idea that we were going to collect more revenue. When in reality, doing the letters, it's a much lower gross profit margin function, just like title insurance is.
Oh, okay. Yes, a lot of people in the Finnish group, they were talking like Alita is stealing your AOL and stuff.
Yeah.
But you are working with Alita together.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So, I don't know why, again, some people haven't been more vocal about it, but the Alita group, their function is to support attorneys, right? It's an attorney panel management system, which in reality, I don't think it was ever in the vision of Voxtur to become a law firm or to manage a bunch of attorneys, right? And I don't know, maybe if I could have done a better job back then when I was just a shareholder trying to educate, people, but in theory, they've always kind of been marching to the tune of that drum beat, right? They're managing attorneys, they're doing the service component. Voxtur's still point of sale. We're still driving sales with our penetration points.
Okay. So Gary has been talking about this bankruptcy product that Voxtur has been developing for a bigger company, and so I guess has it been launched yet?
So that's one of the products that we've sidelined because of the considerations for revenue, right, in 2025. Now, truth be told, that client that Gary was alluding to, whatever previous conversation you have, they did go live. So we are, now being able to see the benefits for that on that platform, on that product line. But right now, that's probably going to be the only client that we see for 2025 on that product line.
Okay.
Which is profitable.
What is the financial impact of that?
That client?
Yeah.
It's too new. They went live in November, so it's still a little bit too new. I'll be able to report on that probably better Q1 of 2025.
Would you say it's material?
But it's potentially, yeah, it could be material. But I think the biggest difference is we don't have any operating expense or liability on that technology, and everything that we do from this point forward is all gross profit. It's nearly 100% gross profit.
Okay, so that's good to hear. So has Voxtur already achieved SOC 2 type compliance? Gary mentioned in an interview that this compliance requirement was necessary to roll out direct appraisal to clients.
Yeah, so they're still working through the process with our auditor. I do know that we've gotten through all of the SOC readiness components. I think now we're getting down to the point where they're going to start testing all of our controls, and then there's a bit of a time period between when we identify our controls, they test them. There's kind of a sample period or a delayed period that they want us to be able to conduct business, and then they come back and they audit, what we've done to make sure that we're in compliance. I think we're in that phase.
Yeah. And this has
so we don't have SOC 2 Type 2 yet, but
Okay.
It's definitely forthcoming.
And you would also say that this has been what has been holding ANOW back from growing.
No, I don't. That's not why.
Okay. So that was.
No, I do know what was being told to us. I do know that was some of the conversations that had occurred as why they weren't being able to see growth on that product line. I am optimistic that in Q1 of 2025, I think we're going to be optimistic in what that growth looks like for ANOW and for Voxtur Direct. I do think that there's been some technical function and requirements that did have to be put in place on that platform in order for it to be advantageous for a lender to switch or to adopt or to, to compensate, for, giving up some of the AMCs. So I do think that we're on a good path with ANOW come 2025.
Yeah. So ANOW signed this one big client, and after that we have not seen like another big one. So do you think we're gonna see one in 2025?
I do believe that we're going to see one in 2025.
Okay.
I do think I'm optimistic that we're going to see more than just that.
So 2025 ANOW is finally gonna start growing.
That's the goal.
Okay. That's good to hear. So let's see. Are you still the CEO of Equity Protect? And
Yes,
how do you
sir.
see your and how do you see that relationship with Voxtur?
So truth be told, right? I was extremely mindful in August to not have any conflicts of interest, to make sure that, there was no conflicts of interest with the exception of my participation, influence, and help. To date, I don't believe that there has been a conflict of interest. Equity Protect is a consumer product, right? It's something that is targeting it's a direct consumer product. Voxtur is very much focused inside of the mortgage, title, real estate industry. Totally different, segment, totally different penetration points. So far to date, I have not seen, the need to address any conflict to speak of.
Yeah. Voxtur is working. Is Voxtur working with Equity Protect?
There's no direct. No. The short answer is no.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been very guarded, just, truth be told, to combine any influence, any resource between the two companies. It's been very separate.
Okay.
So with the exception of working 20 hours a day, making sure that, everybody's satisfied, there shouldn't have any impact on either side.
So is that, do you think that the title business will be the highest revenue growth opportunity?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, yes and no. I do think that the one Voxtur vision is going to be combining a lot of the products and services. So like what I was mentioning on the earnings call, right now we've been very much focused on individual product lines, individual business units, where we are working diligently right now to combine them. So, it's hard to say, will one product or one business be better than another when we're all working towards the same goal and we're all combined in some way.
So there was in the documents, in some of the documents, it said that Voxtur was planning to sell Benutech that you founded. So what do you think about that? Like, how do you see Benutech as the, would that be a bad?
So would it have been a bad thing? I believe that number one, everything was on the table. This was before me. I'm assuming you're reading something that was before me. Everything should have been on the table, right? And at that time, Benutech could have been one of the flagship products that there was interest in, and for that reason they were making a move on it. I mean, I don't take it personal.
Last year Q3 there was no customer representing more than 10% of the revenue. This year there was one customer representing 23% of the revenue in Q3. So I don't know. Can you give some color on this?
Not really. I mean, we haven't made any material changes. I do know that as we move through SWOT analysis and our viable product analysis, I do know that we're mindful of not being dependent on any one customer. So, I mean, for obvious reasons, there's risks associated with having one customer that could wipe out 23% of our revenue. So I do know that we're actively working towards plans to mitigate any of that risk. But yeah, so to that point, I don't know. There has been no real shift in customers, to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah. So another one from this investment report Marius made, that it said some of these numbers that you are selling Voxtur Verify for $20 to get people in, and it says that 9 out of 10 title agents want to see a presentation, and 6 out of 7 want to buy it. So this was like in the first 30 days. So are these, do you think, are you seeing these kinds of numbers right now with Voxtur
So
Verify?
remember, we're going into the holidays. So obviously the appointments that are being set are down during this part of the year, but we haven't seen a slowdown in Voxtur Verify. The biggest advantage right now with Voxtur Verify is it competes directly with a couple different products out there that are $50 and $60 for the exact same product. So where we're in a market where everybody could use, help anywhere that they can get it, if we could reduce their costs by, in some cases 200 or 300%, then we're a warm welcome. And not only that, but we have superior technology that backs it up as well. And so, it's been nothing but optimism as it relates to the Voxtur Verify product line.
Yeah. Have you seen these conversion rates that are in this investment report, like 6 like 6 out of 7 are wanting to buy it after you show it to them? Are you seeing these kinds of conversion rates with the product?
So yeah, I would have to dig into it. If I don't have direct line of sight of it right now, I can't tell you, but I could definitely look into it. I do know that they're high. I just don't know the exact numbers.
I guess, the idea is that you have all these title agents using your other products, and you could
Exactly.
you could sell this all to all of them.
So Jonas, that is the key element in August, was to realign ourselves with our customers, with our clients, with our employees, to ensure that they don't feel like we're competing against them. We're actually there to help them, right? Move their business along. And that really is the message that we want to convey.
And Voxtur Verify, like before, it was said that it was like pre-docs, like it wasn't the full product wasn't out yet. So is the full Voxtur Verify product, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's evolving. So the idea with Voxtur Verify, we started with the title industry because first of all, we had line of sight of it, right? We had control over what we were using internally, right? So we had the opportunity that we could go out there, push it, test it, feel it out, make sure that it was comparable or better than the competitors, which we did do. Voxtur Verify can easily be evolved into a whole list of opportunities, from short form loan applications for home equity products, for construction loans, right, to bank account validation, bank account verification for servicers and sub-servicers who are doing disbursements. There's a lot of opportunity for Voxtur Verify right now.
Okay. Kind of a nice question. Last year, Voxtur sold this AMC business, and there was a $4 million USD earnout. And I don't think we have seen. Maybe are you getting paid this earnout? Because we haven't seen it in the financials, because it's still a decent amount of money.
So I have not either, right? Given the volume, my assumption is we're probably not going to achieve any earnout from that transaction. But that's also that's simply a guess, right? So truth be told, again, my guess is, based off of the volume in the last 12 months, I don't think it's likely to have an earnout. But I don't know. That is to be determined. I don't know.
Okay. So insider buying. Last time we saw insider buying was Al Ghurashi at the start of 2023. So I don't know, like, can you? Is it like always a time when you can't buy, insiders can't buy because of some transaction, or how do you do you think we will see some insider buying?
So I could tell you, I had a conversation 2 days ago, given where the stock price was. I made a suggestion. Hey, when is my blackout period up? Can I, if I have inside information, what constitutes inside information? Is there a difference between buying versus selling? So I know I'm personally inquiring about it. And that's being reviewed. I have, other people that are close that are obviously interested. Um, you know, my caution to anybody is do your own due diligence. I don't know. I don't know, but I know that I'm inquiring about it.
No, you are interested in getting in at the all-time lows here.
Well, yeah, 100%. Right. And,
Okay.
fortunately or unfortunately, I also have line of sight on potentially what would be insider information. So,
Yeah. Let's see. So how do you see like yourself as the CEO of Voxtur? Like, are you seeing like you're gonna turn it around, and like, are you seeing like you're gonna be in this for years if you can?
um, anything is possible, right? And I don't think I can't take full credit for Voxtur getting turned around. It really is. It's a team sport, right? I mean, I couldn't do what I do without the help and the support of every single person in Voxtur. Everybody is sacrificed, right? Everybody's working harder with, with limited resources. So it's not me turning it around. It really is the team at Voxtur that's turning it around. And who knows? Who knows what happens after June?
Um, let's see. So what catalyst should shareholders expect in the near term?
Well, so unfortunately, my style, Jonas, is I don't like to talk about it. I like to do it and then celebrate with the team after the fact. So I do think that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity that has been undervalued going forward. I know we touched on a few of them. I also like to put reality in front of everybody. And so, again, I'm more optimistic today that I sit in this chair with you right now than I ever have been on Voxtur.
Okay. Has Voxtur's poor financial condition affected its ability to sign on and onboard new clients because Voxtur would be seen as a risky partner?
Yes. So up until I want to say this month, right? If I was any of the large clients out there as well, I would be asking those same questions, right? It's understandable.
Yeah.
Now, I have fortunately been able to communicate with all of them, give them options and other, risk mitigating opportunities to help safeguard their business, and continuity with us. And so far, we've had great partners, right? I mean, everybody's been willing to work with us, and we're gonna see the other side.
Okay. You're seeing like at the moment, if you're trying to get a new client, it's you're getting hurt from your financial position.
I've not personally experienced that. I don't think I have heard any of the biz dev people say that, but definitely with current clients, they want to know, ahead of time. They want notice. They want to make sure that their business is protected. I haven't heard that regarding any prospective clients.
Okay.
I think other than us, right, we're the only ones that are paying attention to the public stock side of it, right, or the public financials.
Have you received interest from another company to acquire Voxtur as a whole?
There's multiple opportunities that we're exploring.
Okay. So what do you think Like, what do you think are the non-core assets at the moment? Are there any non-core like businesses?
Well, I mean, if you look at all of the businesses that we have under control, right, or under management today, I mean, it looks like we're closely aligned, or yeah, we're closely aligned to the mortgage and the real estate business, U.S. business. So, you know, given that idea, you could carve out what those other business and product lines look like that we'd be possibly considering. So
Yeah. Let's see. So is Voxtur still paying Jim Albertelli 1 million a year from the severance package?
So without having a formal announcement, I want to defer until I can announce a positive move with Jim Albertelli that we're both excited about. What I can point you to, though, is, you know, if you take a look at what we were spending in August of 2024, which was 2.7 million, and what we're on track to do in December and January, you know, you can come to some of the conclusions with, you know, what a lot of those savings are.
So there's one. Shouldn't the Ontario government's preparation for the tax assessment, including developing new digital tools, already benefit Voxtur?
So the technology is already built. Is that what you're asking?
Well, this is not from me, but this person says, shouldn't the Ontario government's preparation for the tax assessment, including new digital tools, already benefit Voxtur? This is the question.
If we are granted the RFP, then yes, it absolutely benefits.
Okay.
I mean, that's the point of it, right? We're digitizing it, we're streamlining it, we're reducing the FTE count on what it would normally take to do the same work.
Yeah. So, and do you have any, because you have given these conservative estimates based on, you know, increasing prices and such, do you have any, like, what would be, if things go according to plans, your estimate for 2025 or 2026, like a longer term, a less conservative estimate? Do you have any?
This is what I can asterisk. There's a tremendous amount of value. What I'm suggesting right now ensures that we remain healthy. It sets a good benchmark or expectation for us to overachieve on the forecast that we're suggesting.
Okay. So let's say Voxtur, you know, can fix its financial position with the Blue Water sale or with cash flow or some other sale. You know, what would be our kind of focus after that? Like, would you be looking at like buybacks or acquisitions or organic growth? Like, what would be your idea of capital allocation?
So I think there's a couple things that we would be looking at. So strategic acquisitions, there's a few of them that are in mind. You know, top of mind, if we have the cash, if we have the volume, if we have now the tech tools and we're in a position to start making, you know, some big moves, you know that we're also at a part in the industry where we're at the lowest of all lows, right? Right now would be an opportune time to start making some of those capital investments into other businesses that could realign and align with us very nicely. And we can catapult Voxtur into realizing what it was designed to be, which was a true, you know, tech play for the mortgage and the real estate business.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would be quite cautious about Voxtur doing acquisitions because, you know, all these acquisitions at the top of the market last time. And
so Jonas, I've been here for 90 days. Nobody we would be looking at acquisitions at the lowest of all lows, right? In my opinion, this is where we should be making capital investments into companies, not when we are at the boom or the height of a refinance market.
But I assume this would be when Voxtur has a higher valuation and much less debt.
100%.
Yes. And would you also be looking to uplist in this situation?
Yes. So that is still very much the plan. I know that Gary, that's part of what Gary is primarily focused on. Still 100% part of the plan. And that goes in, obviously we need to clean up our house first, which is why that is the primary goal today. Get cash flow positive, get to an EBITDA neutral or better position. And yeah, let's change, let's turn the chapter. Let's be back into an aggressive growth mode.
Right. We look at if there's anything left for my questions. There's one that when will Voxtur start reporting different business units separately? This has been talked about in the past.
Right. So, again, great question. I think historically that made a lot of sense. That way, from a transparency perspective, we could look at each business unit as an investor and say, hey, what the hell are you guys thinking? Right. Where are the synergies? Where are the pickups? Right. Where are some of the KPIs like the reduced cost of consumer acquisitions, all that fun stuff. But in reality, as we move into 2025 and we move closer to a one Voxtur vision, we start to combine product solutions, tools, FTEs. It becomes more and more complex. And so, again, I think we have to balance between the two. I think that there's going to be a better reflection on the one Voxtur vision, which includes a combination of these synergies than it is to break these out into individual silos, because again, it's increasingly difficult for me to even look at them.
Okay, so kind of getting done here with the questions. Gonna do a little summary. So with the Blue Water transaction, it seems to be less certain than, let's say, a month ago when Gary was talking about, it's just lawyers figuring it out until the end. Now it seems less certain.
So I can't say that. What I can say is it's still there. We're still marching towards, the opportunity. But it takes two to tango, right? So, ultimately University Bank has had some changes over the last month. Al Q's departed that you're aware of. There's some things that they also want to make sure that they can get their head around. And I know that they're working towards that goal today.
And you're getting close to cash flow. You're getting close to EBITDA positive now, and you think you're going to get to cash flow positive in Q1. And you think if you can get to 11 to 15% growth, you can service the whole debt.
That's correct.
Okay, so these are all.
That's just based off of the numbers. That's correct.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. So I know. Thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah.
Sekin Alpha Premium is the only almost Mongolian approved paid investment research service. Friteups on stocks. Comment sections. Detailed financials with the ability to change currencies. Valuations. Dividend history. Earnings estimates. Compare pairs. Easily accessible SEC fillings. Earnings call transcripts. NEVs. Stockskräner. I choose Argentina. Market data. Get $30 off with my affiliate link. It's only $269 for the first year. It's nothing. There is also 7-day free trial.